Just the general communism, just that notion, like, or just in general, like, hey, we're going to oppress our people, or we're going to keep information from them, or we'll essentially create this, police environment. As a world, we haven't done the math on that one yet. Like, we don't know that one doesn't work so good. I mean, it's insane to me. Like, when I was 10, I realized that communism couldn't work because here's the deal. If my dad would only pay me to mow the lawn after I was done mowing the lawn, then that's the only thing that got me to mow the lawn. If he would just pay me without mowing, if he just said, look, you'll just get paid on Fridays whether you mow the lawn or not. Right. And by the way, you don't have to be the best lawn mower on this block because there's no competition. And like the second they remove the competition, game over. Everyone's going to pop some Stoli or some pop off and just get loaded back in their 400 square foot bunker apartment. I can't believe for one fucking second, knowing how human beings work, you would think this worked. Because it doesn't work at all.
Right. So you just have to wait for the people who are in charge to die. I mean, like when Fidel Castro at some point will die.
I would argue that we should go kill him, really. But that I'm a little extreme. But I mean, it's so insane. I think I was talking about on this podcast a few weeks ago where Alec Baldwin, who's a friend of mine, he's the leftist-leaning guy in Hollywood, is going up in front of the powers that be in Manhattan and New York City saying, if you guys raise the taxes on us shooting in your city, we're going to pack up and move out of the city. You're going to lose a ton of revenue if you raise taxes. Please don't raise taxes on shooting in New York City. You're going to lose business. And it's like, yeah, buddy, don't you get it?
Right.
That's what the right's been saying the whole time.
Yep.
Of course it's going to drive your business out of here, and you're going to shoot in upstate New York or go to Canada and go do whatever. Of course. Listen to yourself.
Yeah, liberals don't let the facts drive
Get in the way of their fucking fluffy ideas all the time. They don't know anything. I mean, they don't know. It's like, it's weird. It's like, I feel like I need to pull my liberal friends aside and explain to them, here's what motivates people, here's what doesn't motivate people. You giving them welfare, enough just to barely keep them alive, will keep them home and angry, by the way, at you.
Learned helplessness. You're basically training them to, it's a psychological condition.
And ironically, they hate the government more than the people that are paying the taxes. My mom was on welfare and hated the government more and would bash the government more than the guy who lived across the street who actually went to work and paid the taxes so she could hammer the welfare checks. Right. And I was like, you of all people should like the government. You're actually living off the government.
Yeah. Capitalism has been the greatest driver for helping humanity in the history of our existence. And
of course.
It's very hard for people to accept that because they can see some wild swings at times, like what's happening with the stock market now.
But are these fucks so naive that they're like, oh man, Upjohn and Pfizer and all these drug companies, they're ripping off the American. Okay, let's get them to go under, and then you don't have your AZT.
Right.
You don't have essentially a cure for AIDS
if
you remove the money component from these companies. That's what fuels them. I know it goes off in different directions sometimes, and people get busted, and sometimes people get away with it. But if you do not have the, hey, we can make some money off this, then you wait. And I just got to say this because it's the same fucking people that are complaining about, what's being done, what's not being done, what they're doing in Europe and whatever.
Right.
You hate the drug companies. The drug companies are evil, but yet they've essentially taken AIDS and turned it from a death sentence to something you can live with because they're evil and want money.
Right.
You don't understand that?
It's a pretty driving force that we want to succeed in life. And if there's a prize at the end, that's better. And if you look at what's happening in Europe, they don't own any internet company of note.
Right.
The reason the United States dominates the internet industry is because we have this insane capital system where you get disproportionately rewarded if you kick fucking ass.
Right.
The Google guys become billionaires, the eBay guys become billionaires, Yahoo guys become billionaires, and guess what? eBay, Yahoo, Google own the internet around the world. They're dominating around the world.
Right.
So we created this massive system of fluidity. We could fire people, employment at will. It's very much in the favor of the companies. Therefore, America owns a disproportionate amount of the global GDP. Then you go to other places in the world. If you want to fire somebody in France, you have to go to court.
Really?
You have to go to fucking court and say, I'm going to let this guy go, and here's why. Then you have to go, and you actually, 6 months later, go to court. This person's got to stay in your company while you're firing him and doing the whole court proceeding. You have to put a year or two of salary into escrow for every person you hire.
Really?
So you start some big company, you're like, okay, my company is going to do internet search, and then you hire 50 people and go, you know what? Actually, we have this other auction business is kicking ass. Let's do auction business. We need these different type of people.
Right.
Over there, it's like, no, you have to shut your company down because you have to be loyal to those employees.
This is a macro version of the Alec Baldwin Manhattan discussion,
Right.
which is you create these things and people go, fuck it, we're going over here and doing it.
Absolutely.
And they'll do that they'll do it within countries, and then they'll do it inside of a country too, which is we'll shoot in New Mexico. It's cheaper than shooting in Las Vegas or wherever they're talking, or Nevada. But so the point is you making, putting more, bike helmets on everyone's delicate psyche and putting more tax revenue and all that it seems like a great idea to get more money, except for when everyone picks up and moves. And
right.
You're saying Europe is becoming this way pretty quickly now,
yeah, their
right?
GDP is flat, their GDP is down, and people don't work as much, and there's not as much jobs. They don't have the same swings. So France never boomed like we did.
Right.
And right now they're not busting like we are.
Right.
But, it's like how do you win in poker, right? You're a poker player, right? I'm a poker.
No, but go ahead.
You've got an ace of spades in your logo.
Yeah, it's a decent point.
I'm just saying, I figure you're a poker guy and everything else. But anyway, the people who win in poker who are aggressive, they bet, they push hard, not the people who just sit there and wait for the pocket aces to come. That's not the people who win in life.
Right.
The risk takers win. You have to build a system for risk takers, disproportionately reward them so everybody else is motivated to take risk and to solve big problems.
Right. And so what do you look at, as far as the globe then goes? You look at, let's see, Western Europe is sort of probably Eastern Europe on a downward trajectory. Who's a climber?
Oh, if you go to Korea, if you go to China, if you go to Japan, in those countries, they're innovating very quickly. Israel, huge. So I would say Israel, Korea, Japan, China, those are the countries that are really moving quickly and innovating.
I don't know why Israel, probably because not only non-Asian group on the list surprised me, but I didn't know Israel was doing that. Although I did hear once that they produce almost all of the super expensive private aircraft over there. They manufacture it and then fly it back over here, and it gets like an interior or something. And I was pretty impressed by it because I always think of Israel as just some sort of basket that we throw money into.
Yeah. I run a tech conference called the TechCrunch 50, and is my mic off or is it okay?
I don't know. Something happened.
Okay?
Donnie.
How's our mics doing? Feels good?
Donnie, you got to come in here and tell us what's going on. Something happened with Jason's mic?
Is it okay? Check, 1, 2. I think that sounds better.
Hey, Donnie, remember the part where I said come in here?